What is going on, bro? Welcome to the video. We are officially back home in Austin, Texas, back in the whip. And check it out. I've realized there's a lot of things in life that we do without even questioning it. We do it because our parents told us that's what's right, or because school taught us that's what we're supposed to do. And a lot of times, there's no problem with this. A lot of times, these are rules that keep us safe and they make sense. But I've also realized that a lot of these rules kind of keep us living in the matrix, and they control our lives and prevent us from being successful. A lot of these things kept me watching other people being successful while I was on the sidelines and allowed other people just to walk all over me, bro. So most importantly, you got to eat a lot of breakfast taco. Oh, that's not the video we're filming today, is it? So a couple weeks ago, before we went to Spain, we got woken up at like 6 a.m. by this fire alarm in our building. And I don't know about y'all, but I kind of just like waited it out. I looked outside, like, everything looks all good. I'm just gonna wait and see when this ends. And it went on for like 2 hours. And then later that day, we found out there wasn't a fire, but a bunch of pipes burst on one of the higher up floors, and like half of the building flooded. People woke up knee deep in water in their apartments. Half of the apartments had to move out. You know, thankfully, ours was fine, or I thought it was thankfully, because then a few days after that, they started demolishing all these units. It's been very loud, to say the least. So this morning I went down to the apartment manager and I said, look, I know you guys are dealing with a disaster right now. However, I work from home. You know, I rented this apartment as a 2-bedroom to have a home office, and I have not been able to film. I've not been able to do Zoom calls. And of course she tells me, you know, I'm sorry to hear that, but we have to focus our efforts on the people who had damage in their apartment who have to leave. We don't really have any options for you right now. And in the past, I would have either been like, oh, okay, you don't have any options for me. Like, I don't want to cause a fuss here. Or I wouldn't have known how to react, and I would have gotten pissed and been like, this does not fucking work for me. You guys got to figure this shit out. And that's the first rule. You know, I was always raised not to put other people in uncomfortable situations, not to do something that would make other people upset. And I think that's why a lot of us are programmed in these situations just to be like, oh, okay, and just accept whatever answer it is, or to not know how to manage our emotions in that moment and then just to flip out and lose it. And the same thing can happen a lot in negotiations. If you're buying a car or a house, or we over in Spain, we were talking to our wedding planner, and there were some expenses that didn't make sense. It was like 1,500 euros to rent a disco ball for the dance floor, and she's like, oh, you know, that's kind of just the prices. Like, that is what it is, you know. And that is why you must learn to use your fist. And I'm not saying your fist like I'm gonna punch your face in. I'm saying you have to know, what is your fist? What is something that you know is true no matter what the other person says, and you can calmly keep coming back to it. So for the apartment, my fist is that these conditions don't work for me. This noise doesn't work for me. It's not going to be possible for me to continue living here under these conditions. And I'm pretty sure they've done psychological studies on this, but what happens is once you repeat the same thing calmly 3 or 4 times, oftentimes the other party just accepts it. So with the apartment situation, I kept saying, yeah, no, I understand this is really difficult for you guys. However, I'm not able to keep living here under these conditions. What do you suggest that we do? And that's also a key. I always ask the person, what do you suggest that we do? Because that way they come to the solution on their own rather than you forcing it. And eventually they said, okay, you know, what would be an ideal timeline for you to move out? And I'm pretty sure we're gonna be able to get out of that lease. And for the wedding planner, I kept saying, no, you know, I understand, you know, you're the middleman here and people have their prices, but we're not gonna be able to pay this price unless we can understand how they got to it. And before you know it, we went through all these different itemized things on the budget, and a lot of prices are getting reduced now. A little 3-hour road trip to Houston, about to hit up Alphaland. And I'll tell you one thing, when you walk through the door at Alphaland, you gotta be looking fresh. Julia, hand me my thing. No, not the pre-workout, hand me my other thing. I keep it in the front. I gotta be looking good. Come on now. That's what I'm talking about, baby. My Tige Hanley. Gotta have my skin game on point at all times. And that's why I want to say thank you to Tige Hanley for being the sponsor of today's video. In case you're not familiar, Tige Hanley is straight up the best skincare system out there for men because, well, like they say, it is uncomplicated. It's simple, it's easy to use, it works. If you sign up, you're gonna get a box like this one right here that contains a variety of different creams and lotions that have been formulated specifically to work together as a system to give you clear, healthy skin that's gonna make you look your absolute best. So when you walk out the door, you're feeling like a boss. I'd personally recommend you get started with their level 1 system that contains a daily face wash, twice per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of those dead skin cells, as well as a PM moisturizer to use before bed and an AM moisturizer with sun protection. Look, they have over 5,000 5-star reviews from satisfied men all around the world, and all their products are made from top-of-the-line ingredients like collagen, vitamin B3, and eucalyptus. Like, if you're choosing a skincare system, you can't go wrong with Tiege Hanley. And because Tiege Hanley is sponsoring today's video, if you click that first link down in the description, you're gonna get 30% off your first box, and they're gonna throw in a free gift. What are you waiting for, bro? It is time to take your skincare game to that next level. Guys, bro, workout complete. Workouts at Alphaland always slap, especially with little Tiege Hanley before. But check it out. I was on the plane ride back from Spain a couple days ago, right? And there was this baby crying. I feel like a baby's crying every plane ride. I'm about to fall asleep. You're beside tangent. The last flight home. So we flew from Sevilla to Madrid. Madrid 9 hours to Miami. Miami to Austin. Exhausted, 20 hours into traveling, and this baby starts crying when I'm trying to sleep. And in between the cries, the baby's going, yeah, but I don't want to. And in that moment, I resonated with that baby because I was like, bro, I don't want to either. I don't want to keep going. I want someone to pull up in a wheelchair, wheel me back to my bed, put me to sleep, and I'll be happy with that. And in that moment, I started to contemplate. All of us have this infant, toddler energy ingrained inside of us where when we're a baby and we're hungry or we're tired or we're afraid, what do? We cry, someone help me, someone figure this shit out for me. And that is still like an impulse that we have, again, when we're afraid or we don't feel like doing something. We just want to be like, but I don't want to. Honestly, I don't even think that's the problem, because we all realize that, motivation is what gets you started, but discipline is what gets you to the finish line. Even when you don't feel like doing things, that's when you got to do it. I think the problem is that it's become like a subconscious rule of society that it's okay not to do something if you don't feel like it. If you see this girl you want to talk to and you're with your friend and you're like, I should talk to her, but it might be kind of awkward, your buddy's going to be like, yeah, man, don't even worry about it. Don't even sweat it. You can get it next time. If you're with your buddies and you're like, man, I shouldn't be eating this meal right now. I'm on a diet, but that looks good. Then you're like, yeah, man, just take it easy on the diet today. It's not a big deal. Skip that workout, bro. It's not a big deal. And we do this to each other for 2 reasons. One, because we're empathetic and we fucking care about other people and we don't want other people to go through pain. So we're like, bro, it's easy. You don't have to do that. The other reason is that it makes us feel better about ourselves, because if someone's telling you they're kind of afraid, they don't want to do something, it's going to be your natural instinct to be like, yeah, don't worry. You don't have to do it, because then that lowers the bar for you. And now when you don't feel like doing things, well, it's all good too. So we all fucking let each other off the hook all the time. And I think the key here is to realize this, and then to make the commitment to yourself that I'm going to hold myself to a standard that's higher than everyone else is going to hold me to. And I've had to make that commitment that I'm never going to be lazy because someone else gives me permission to. I can't tell you how many times I've had a YouTube video planned, and then there's been non-ideal situations, and Julia or the homie Dave or Max, I've been with them, they're like, bro, you should probably just skip this video. It's not a big deal. And guess what? It goes in one ear, out the other. I expect other people to have lower expectations for me, and that doesn't change my plan. So yesterday we had the #1 breakfast in the world. Today we're gonna have the #2 breakfast.
You like it so much, you suggested this.
#2 is pretty good. So Max introduced me to these kolaches last time we were here. It's just balls full of stuff. Last time I tried sausage, egg, and cheese. This is a Philly cheesesteak. That's an 8 out of 10.
You're lying.
All right, Max, I would say you're a successful man.
Thanks.
What is some rule that you always thought you were supposed to follow and do, and eventually you had to break it to get where you are today?
I feel like there's this path that every person, every guy thinks they have to follow. You go to high school, you graduate, you go to college, graduate, you get a job they maybe don't like, but that's what you're supposed to do in life. And when I personally found kind of the entrepreneurial spirit with clothing and social media, that was something different that was outside the norm that I wanted to do, and I really wanted to break out of that. And it took me a year to get the confidence up to break that kind of tradition, I think, that I was so ingrained into my head. And I remember when I was about to quit my job to pursue all this stuff full time, I called my mom and I was like, hey mom, I'm gonna quit my job. I'm gonna pursue everything that I want to do and follow my dreams. And she's like, I don't think you should do that. She's like, I don't think so. She's like, why don't you just like keep working at the job a little bit?
So that didn't hold you back?
No, I mean, I had already I think once you go through enough scenarios in your head and you hopefully have gone through some kind of planning to make sure you can succeed at it, or at least have some sort of like financial structure to it, I feel like you're so like ready to take that leap, and you see the opportunities that are there, and you don't want to like miss them and waste them by not doing what you want to do.
Yeah, it's funny because I think that our parents' rules that they set, or the expectations that they subconsciously set, are the number one thing that can hold us back as men. And it's so common to see people just grow up to be their fathers, a similar career, they carry themselves the same way, they speak the same way, they have the same strengths and weaknesses. And for me, like, my father's a huge mentor, a huge idol to me in terms of his work ethic and so many things, but I had to specifically make the decision that his path in life is not the path in life that I'm gonna take, and I'm gonna go like a separate way, and that's awesome. Like, that's what makes me me. I'll take his strengths and his awesome parts, and I'm gonna remix it and make it my own thing.
And to be honest, now has never been a better time to kind of try something. And a lot of people fear failure so much that they never take any risks, and you can't really live your life like that. Sometimes you're a little baby bird, and you just gotta jump out that damn nest. You ain't gonna hit the ground, you're gonna soar, baby. You're gonna be flapping, it's gonna be the best.
I hope that all of that made sense. Reminder, next video, Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern time is the new Edge drop. Highly anticipated. If you made it to the end of this video, I appreciate you, bro. Hit that thumbs up button. If you're new to the channel, go ahead, click subscribe and turn notifications on, because I drop 2 new videos every single week and you don't wanna miss it. Rolo, come here. I will talk to all of y'all in the next video. Stay beastly.